Right, how you all doing? School run's done. It's bedtime. It's time for bed. I've been up all night. Don't do that. Do as I say, not as I do. What a day. What a day. Get to that. If you wonder why the last 2 days worth of stuff looks and sounds terrible, here's a trick. Get more footage. I didn't have enough footage. Normally, for birthdays, we do a birthday. So I would have opening presents, parties, that kind of thing, all chunked in together, just enough to cut to tunes. This time, like split over 2 days, didn't have enough footage. I just didn't. It was one of those, if I wanted to have enough footage to edit to, I wouldn't have been absorbed in the day. And I would rather experience something than through these than this. So, but that is a nice little trick. If you ever want to edit something to music or whatever, make sure you have a metric ass ton of B-roll, because you will need it. Like if you're going to do like 30 minutes, like a short doc, 30 minutes to an hour, you need hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of B-roll and just like interview footage. It's all sorts. You need hours of it to cut around, you know. So I didn't have anywhere near enough, because you'll start to see as it starts to go on, you'll have like cut, and it takes longer to get it because I'm out of footage. So it looks shit, and the tune's not ideal, but they're fun. So I managed to pass out for a couple hours today. I was up all night just doing little bits and bobs to make sure that I didn't have a huge amount to do today. Trick is, I stupidly stayed up. I couldn't settle. I didn't get to sleep until stupid o'clock in the morning. Like everyone else had got up, did school run and everything, and that's what I've been up all night. And the wife just said, "Let's just go to bed." Go to bed. She like just chucked me in the bed, tucked me in, and I was out for a couple of hours. But then I mentioned how yesterday my big man ain't feeling well. He ain't feeling well at all, and got him to the doctors. He's tanking hardcore. He's finding it pretty difficult to breathe. He's always has infections, chest infections, ear infections, sinus infections, just the whole shebang. He often has them all at once too. The doctors this time round had no idea what they were going to do with him, which was a tad concerning. But they have suggested he goes to ear, nose and throat at the local hospital. They will sort out the appointment. However, they've said that it could take upwards of a year. I'm sure I heard that right. It could take a long time for him to get this appointment. They have recommended he takes the rest of the week off school too. So we're on unwell big lad duty. That's fucking brutal. That poor boy can't go more than a couple weeks, couple months without being sick. It's absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. Fucking poor little sod. He gets over one thing, or seems like he's getting over something, and then just fucking whaps him full force, and he's back down to the floor, and just. So I'm not liking the idea of him having to go to ear, nose and throat, but I mean, if they can sort him out, then that'll be fantastic. It's just, I would much rather sooner rather than later, because we can't keep. He's stressing him out. It's making him uncomfortable. You know, the regular medications aren't really helping him any, and No, it's just not. It's not fair. Well, it's not about fair. I know. Just give the little guy a break, just for a little while, eh? His brother, my youngest, very rarely gets sick. Very rarely gets sick. When my eldest gets sick, though, when he gets ill, he goes down faster than like the Titanic or the Hindenburg. Like, just it's catastrophic, disastrous. He doesn't just have like a light cold. He just takes over his head, and he just gets really unwell, really sick, and just need to get rid of all these infections. But my day has been thin. Realistically, just because, I made sure that I got most stuff done. Just look after the spud. The only other groove I've got going on is I decided I was going to bust out my old Steam machine. It's a Dell Optiplex 990 and see if I could get that thing to work. But that was a nightmare. Couldn't get it to boot. Couldn't get it to post. I'd taken out one of the drives in it, which must be where the extra drive I have in Belial must have come from my Steam machine. And I've managed to get SteamOS installed on it. I managed to get it to boot, managed to get SteamOS installed on it, SteamOS 2. And I found that nothing works on it. Like, Steam Play does not work on it. And I think that might have been why I stopped using it to begin with, because, whilst it's great to use Linux native binaries on my big boy PC, I can run Steam Play, Proton, and play anything I want, realistically. I would have liked it if the consoleized version could have played things that weren't just Linux binaries. Plus, some Linux ports kind of suck balls. I found that some games worked a lot better on Proton than they did on Linux. Loop Hero, as a random example, depending on your distro, doesn't work. You can fix it, there's just missing some dependencies, but it just works on Proton. But on the little SteamOS 2 groove that I've got going on, it doesn't work. So my groove tomorrow is going to be to try and install, is it Hollow, which is a third-party spin of SteamOS 3. I'm really looking forward to Valve releasing SteamOS 3, but that will come sometime on Valve time, probably long after I'm brown bread. But that's it. That's my day. I think I'm going to go and pass out, see if I can actually get an early night done about it. What's the big man like? I don't want him to have to wait for any real significant period of time to get this sorted, because he's had these infections for so fucking long. And they pump him full of antibiotics, and it just doesn't seem to help him. He'll get to the point where he's, moving about, functioning and all that again, and then give it a couple of weeks, couple of months, and he's back down to the floor. Hope you're well. I'll see you all with a bit of luck in the next one.